Today we're going to take a look at a scheme out of the gun wing stack formation, which is a brand new formation in Madden 18. Essentially what it is it's ace pair chief out of the gun formation. Now, we saw this formation at EA Play, and we also saw it in a lot of the preview videos that people were releasing up until the launch of EA Access. And, you know, the route combinations and just the routes that we saw looked really, really glitchy. Now, I'm going to downplay it a little bit and say that it's not quite as good as what it looked like it could have been, because we don't know how many plays are in the formation, etc. And so, while it's still good, obviously I'm showing a video on it, it's not quite as good as what I thought it might be. Now, we're going to use the Kansas City Chiefs playbook, and the reason we're going to do that is because they also have the Singleback ace pair chief formation, which is now called Singleback wing stack. Now, obviously we love this because now we can audible between gun wing stack and Singleback wing stack, which is Singleback ace pair chief. But also they have the Singleback deuce close. Now, the truth is that in Madden 18, a lot of the same plays really work. So you're going to want to be able to have access to some of the stuff that you ran before because you're comfortable with it. Now, I'm not the type of person that goes in and just like, oh, I wonder if my offense from last year works. I'm not one of those guys. I always want to keep it fresh and look for new stuff. Now, before we pick the play, which is PA curl post, it's my favorite play in the formation, let's talk about Gun Bunch Skimbo and how he won the Madden Championship, basically abusing Z-Spot. Now, they ended up taking out the route, as you see right here on the far left, that post route. They took that out of Gun Bunch because it was so effective. But in typical EA fashion, they ended up adding it to a lot of other formations, and it can be just as glitchy, if not glitchier, out of those formations. And wing stack is the perfect example of that. Let's take a look. We're just going to run a random play out of the 4-3 formation. And to set this up, it's one step, and that is triangle on a drag. Now, there's a couple things that you need to be aware of this year. Here, we're going to run play action, which is cool, and I'm certainly going to do that. But if we feel like the pressure is going to come, we want to block the running back and then ID the mic. Now, in this particular scenario, they could potentially be blitzing this guy, and then they're going to be usering one of these two. So we need to guess right. We need to figure out which guy's blitzing, because if we end up IDing the wrong guy, then the running back is going to be blocking nobody. It's going to be blocking the user, and we put ourselves at risk. So I think they're going to use this particular player. So that's who I'm going to ID is the opposite guy. Now, for practice mode, there's nothing I can do. They always play over the top coverage. So the flats are going to be wide open throughout the scheme the whole time. It's just there's nothing I can do about it. That's why I love to post gameplay footage. But I want to get tips to you guys. And I know that I don't have the time to hurry up and get stuff out to you and play enough games, especially because I'm on PS4 and there's nobody really on PS4 right now. So we're just going to run this. So let's take a look. Now, the first thing that I want to read this year is the safeties, because there is the possibility that they're going to take away previous play. And if they do, I need to figure out the coverages myself. So, too high safety, we're looking at 3 different possibilities are the most common. Cover 2 man, and cover 4. So, once they snap the ball, once I snap the ball, I'm going to read the safeties. If they split or back up, then I know it's one of those 3. The next thing I want to look at is, do the outside defenders suck in and chase square and circle? If they chase, I know it's man coverage. So that's where I'm going to have to look at triangle. I'm going to have to look at X and circle. Now, circle only if my tight end is very good, because this route is not going to beat man with a not very good tight end. It's just not. So you're going to have to be careful about that. Now, if they call cover 4 and cover 2, we're absolutely going to be able to abuse them. So let's take a look. So they don't chase. and we're able to hit that outside guy. There's going to be a lot of different coverages and stuff that people are going to run, so I can't necessarily emulate that completely. And they are always going to play that over-the-top coverage. And as you see, they sent that outside pressure, and we're still able to pick it up. I don't even know how that's possible, to be honest with you, because I ID'd this guy here, and he didn't end up blitzing. So, you know, I guess we blocked the running back, so he still ends up picking him up. Now, the two routes that we could hit are the two best routes in the entire formation, which is the corner route and then the post route. And as you can see, both are completely wide open. And we have the drag there basically to hold the user down over the middle while we attack the post, the deep middle area. If they cover the post, then we want to take the drag. As far as X goes, to be honest with you, it's there basically as a mesh concept. It's not a route that I'm really going to hit that much, but it's still pretty decent nonetheless. So now we look at the safeties. We see that they suck in a little bit, but still not man coverage. And then again, we hit that post over the middle. Now, the downside here is that obviously the user defender is going to be very, very, especially as the year goes on and they start to realize that this particular play and this particular route is lethal. They're going to be lurking that, right? We all know that. That's obvious. But that's why we have the mesh concept underneath, so that we can hit these drags and make them basically play cover 2. Because if they play cover 2 or even really a cover 3 to protect against these routes and play the underneath coverage, that's when this route and this route are really, really going to get open. So that's the entire idea. That's why mesh concept is very good. So we're going to put them on a drag again. This time I'm going to block, and I'm going to ID the mic, and I'm going to ID him right here because that looks like where he's blitzing. As you can see right there, terrible. I don't even know what I was doing on that play. I wanted to throw to a different route, and that was just awful. So now let's do it again. Okay, single high safety. So cover 1 or cover 3. Now, because we've got the good tight end, he ends up beating his guy, and it's a touchdown against a cornerback. So having a good tight end is very, very important if you're going to be running these formations, especially with dual tight ends. Don't just go in with a team that doesn't have the best tight ends, because you're going to get roasted. The drag, and you've got the other tight end. This guy's also valuable because, as you can see right here, we got Escobar. I mean, he's not very good. So we need to make sure that we have those good tight ends. Let's run it again. We see the outside safeties back up. Just take the drag. We've got our fastest guy there, Tyreek Hill, and we pick up 10 yards. Now, this is also an audible PA curl post. So we can just run this all day long. Again, just outside. And I love it because the outside routes, okay, the drag and circle, user defenders never really cover the sidelines like that. They're always over the middle of the field. So here we see that this safety comes down. So I love this, the ability to ID that particular player. So now if they send pressure from that side, we're going to pick him up, no problem. But as you can see, they sent the house, and I ID the outside guy who did come. But just because you do that doesn't mean that this thunder smoke essentially is what they ran. I mean, look at everyone's open. I tried to focus on the outside guy, showing you guys that we could pick him up, and he did. That's the guy he picked up, but we missed every read possible because of it. Okay, so I'm going to leave you guys with that particular play, and we're going to get into some other stuff. As you see again, circle and square, the two routes that are deadly, they got wide open once again. So in practice mode, as I mentioned, they do play over-the-top coverage a lot. So the fact that we're able to get this route open is like a miracle, because practice mode, really, they always play over the top. But we got the drag, and I mean, it's a great play. It's a great play. So that is the first play that you're going to want to look at. The second play, as we're 10 minutes into this video, I do apologize, is the play double corner. And this is another play that a lot of people had considered to be fantastic just by looking at the play art because of the dual Z-spot routes. Now, triangle is not quite as good as you would have expected, but we're going to take a look at it anyway. Now, the way that I like to set up this play is I'm going to streak X, I'm going to out route R1, and I'm going to flat square. Now, I love this route combination. The out routes by the running back out of the backfield are very, very fast this year. And our first read is, of course, a lot of times going to be X over the middle. But you also have to consider that we're putting that route on a streak because we want to hold the user defender at bay. That's why tight end streaks are very valuable, because it holds the defender there, just like underneath drags, and it allows you to hit some of these other routes. So, as you see right here, we end up hitting the outside guy, and we guessed completely wrong, and that was absolutely a nightmare. I apologize. That was really bad. That was really bad, guys. Okay, so let's do it again. Let's do it again. I saw man coverage, and I was like, oh my god. So as you see again, just like the first play that we looked at, that route all day long, right? But the idea here is that now we've got the route on the other side. So yes, they're going to be very aware of circle. They're going to be very aware of the flats on that side, etc. But now they've got to worry about the left side. So let's take a look at the left side. So now they play that over the top coverage, and we take the flat, and we end up picking an easy 5 yards up. Let's take a look at it again. Now, as I said, the computer always plays over the top coverage. So I'm just going to be hitting this flat all day long, okay? But the idea here is that when you're playing a user opponent and they start playing hard flats and over the top, underneath, that's when you really have to decide who's going to be the guy. Now, if you wait when he sets, like, this is the point right here where you need to make that decision, because he's going to suck down right away, and that's going to leave this route wide open as he curls over to the sideline. I wish that the computer didn't do that, but they do, and there's nothing I can do about it. Let's try it again. Come on, let's try and, no, see, they just always want to do that. But we're going to take the 5 yards every single time. So let's actually get into calling a cover 2 hard flat, just to show you. I apologize for the bad video, guys. It's not necessarily the greatest video in the world. Cover 2 hard flat. Okay, so now we've got that route over on the sideline, and he gets wide open, and it's a terrible throw. This is why I don't like practice mode, guys. This is why I like to show you guys all the stuff working in actual games, because that's where it's the most valuable. I mean, they can't even make the throws, man. I mean, it makes me want to just stop this video. It does. I want to stop this video and start over, but I can't do it because then there's going to be something else wrong with the next video, and then it's going to take me 6 hours to do the video. So let's take a look. Now, I'm going to pass lead a little bit down there to hopefully get that completion, and as you see, we do for once. Now let's go to the other side of the field. We look at R1. I mean, that was a nightmare. But as you can see, we just take these corner routes all day long. And that's when mixing up this play is very good, because we've got the post route. Pass lead that one up because that mid read is there. And we pass lead that up, and we get... It's the idea that we can attack the outside on both sides. And cover 2, I don't believe is going to be the meta this year. I really don't, because I just don't think it's going to be as good as last year. There's too many plays, too many route combinations that are in the game this year really to destroy that. So we can run this play to attack the outside, or what we can do is run curl post to attack one side and then go over the middle. Now, one is a play action and one is not. So to make sure that your opponent doesn't always know what play you're running, because as soon as he sees a play action, he's going to know about square over the middle. So we can always just block the running back, okay, and then snap the ball. And now he's got to guess, and then we can attack that square route over the middle of the field. So we're 15 minutes into the video, and I think I've done a pretty good job at showing you guys with all the faults of practice. This is why I show gameplay. I just want to repeat. As the year goes on, it's going to be gameplay, 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 gameplay. So now we're going to take a look at Ohio spacing. And this is going to be a play that is, I'm going to use it to beat cover 4, okay? It's not the greatest play in the world. It does have good spacing, but it's not necessarily the greatest play in the world. Let's just run it by default and see what it looks like. Now, as you see, R1, circle. Circle's very good, but they're going to be all over. They're going to be lurking over the middle of the field, and they're going to be all over the middle route. And then the only other option that we have, really, is circle, as you can see, against cover 4. I mean, there's really not much else. Unless we throw a pass here and our guy, you know, we beat our guy, there's really, we're at a risk. Yes, the spacing is good, for sure, but we need to add one more dimension to this, and that is going to be putting triangle on a curl. The way you attack cover 4 is the seams, basically in between the hash mark and the numbers. That's where cover 4 is susceptible, and the reason is because you got the flat routes or the purple routes or the seam flats covering out on the sidelines. So now what we're going to do is we're going to run this, and circle's going to be open, X is going to be open, and then triangle, even though the block shed got to me. Let's try it again, and it's another one route setup, as you see here. So now it's going to be very, very hard for them to use all of that. And there's really no adjustments in the game that, you know, if they start adjusting to really stop Ohio, I mean, they're, you know, that's not really ideal for them. But as you can see right here, we've got the spacing to be able to destroy cover 4. Now we can also, if we wanted to, and we didn't really care about quick snapping, we could change this route to just a regular out route so that it doesn't take so long to develop, because basically by this taking so long to develop, we're not able to throw this right away. But that's how we're going to attack cover 4, and it is an audible. So there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be running cover 4. Some people are so used to running cover 4 as their stock defense as well, because for a lot of people it can be hard to beat. So let's take a look again. So now the out route is there. We take the out route. I did a very bad job there. Try it again. So he bumps the out route, and then we can take it upfield if we throw a pass lead up. That's very, very bad by me. I apologize. I don't know what I'm doing. He's bumping the guy, and I should be able to take this upfield. There we go. So I end up picking 10 yards up right there. So as you see, the bumping does interfere, but as you can see, it's kind of give or take, actually, to be honest with you. I was used to running this in live games, and so by putting the guy in an out route, it seemed a lot more beneficial, but it appears here in practice mode that there's a little bit more interference than in a real game. And he's going out of bounds for some reason. I don't understand that, because in a game that does not happen. So let's just leave him on a curl route, okay? And we're going to be able to just hit these guys all day long. Very, very simple. That's my cover 4 beater. Now let's get on to the next play. And we're almost done. I promise you, we're 20 minutes in. I know I keep apologizing, but it's because I know if I'm a viewer, this is agony. Like, this is complete agony. Actually, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the play levels. Now, this play here, it's not even an audible, and there's really nothing fancy about it. There's one thing that I like, and one thing only. So my suggestion to you is take this play and do whatever adjustments you want, whatever you feel comfortable with, okay? It's all about comfortability. And the only route that I like in this particular play is circle as a potential quick pass, but it's man coverage, so we're not able to take that. Now, again, routes over the middle can be lurked by a user defender. But this option route, if it's man coverage, he will go on the post every single time. If you have time, there are some routes like triangle. Every route will get open against man except for circle. Circle is there as a quick pass, but again, they took it away. So now I have to kind of go down underneath. If you feel like you're going to have time, then this play can be very valuable. But if you're facing a lot of pressure, this play is next to nothing. It's really next to nothing, because if this read isn't open and they are sending pressure, you're done. It's as simple as that. You're done. Because as you can see, these routes here, they take a long time to develop. Like these guys aren't even, you'd be done. But if you have the time, now what we're talking about is this route here. It's like an outside, it's like a trail. Okay, so it goes outside and then it gets nice separation over the middle. And if you have time, it's a nice route to get your opponent downfield on these particular plays. You know, it ends up being essentially a drag, but it's delayed. So it allows you to make other reads and then come down to the check down. And then also you've got the high-low between the in route. And this in route is really, really nice. He takes a step in, cuts to the inside, and then he's gone. And as I said, this guy against man coverage is always going to run the post. It's an option route. So use it at your own risk. But if they do back up, and again, see, as you can see, it's a delay. And it can be nice. It can be nice. It's just I don't want to oversell it to you guys. I don't want you guys to think, oh my God, this play's great because look at it in practice. No. People love to send pressure, and that's the route that we're looking at. If they back up, you got to be there, ready to take it. It's a play that you can come out in. You can get a look. You can figure out what your opponent's been running. And if you see that your opponent's been running a lot of stuff where the flat area is open quick, then this is a play that you could definitely go to. If they're blitzing off the edge, this is a really nice play that you could go to. Obviously, you can put your guy in a flat, but a flat's not going to get upfield like this. A speed burst that you're going to potentially get, a broken tackle, and as you see, we pick up an easy 10 yards right away. So now it's a double safety blitz. It's man coverage. So, yeah. There's no way that we're going to... I mean, if they send an all-out blitz like that, I don't know what to say. I mean, you just back up and hope that you have the time. Let's try and get one more example of this route. As you can see, it's easy. We pick up the yard. So that's the extent of that particular play. Now we're going to get into the last pass play, guys. We're almost 25 minutes into the video. I hope you guys appreciate it because I definitely am putting in the time and the effort on this. Motion stick, terrible. Jailbreak screen, terrible. Levels, I just showed you. There's really not much. So we've got auto motions. We've got 3 of them. The problem is that 2 of them are awful. But double cross is pretty good. So that's the other play. And this is the play that I'm going to come out in most of the time. So we'll do random play again. And it's a mesh concept once again, but with the ability to hit them deep with R1. The smallest mistake by your opponent, and this could be a touchdown just by R1. And then we've also got a really nice corner route with square. Yes, I know we have the corner route over here, but that's run by triangle. So the fact that we've got a little bit of a mix-up, if they think that we're going to be running double corner, and they do something like double manning up triangle, and then we come out and we run this corner route, that's very, very beneficial for us. So let's take a look. The defender goes over there, and that's going to be our first read. So we'll just take the drags underneath. Always just take the yards, take the free yards, because open field this year is nasty. And there's no change that we need to make. They're sending a crazy, crazy blitz. Again, a la practice mode. Actually, they didn't. They all backed up. How wild was that? Wow, okay. So it's just a nice little catch them off guard, come out. You can quick snap it. Is it a hard flat? It is. Pass lead it to the outside. You just want to look at the hard flat. That's the first read that you want to make once you motion the guy, once he goes into his auto motion. Look at that quick hard flat. If it is, you can take it. and then pass lead to the outside. Still a risk. They can jump it, and if they jump that, it's 6 the other way. So definitely be careful about that. And as you can see right there, I ended up getting sacked because I was looking at the corner to see how he was going to play. And that's when this can get a little bit tricky. See how he cuts to the inside? Well, he does cut to the inside, but then this guy over here ends up trailing back. So that was very, very confusing in that specific instance. Let's do it again. I'm going to try to hit the corner route. So pass lead down into the outside. A little bit risky. Threw a little bit into coverage there, but we're still able to get it done. Off my back foot, but that's okay. Make a move or two, and you're gone for a touchdown. Any type of mesh play is great against the blitz. So this is a play that I love to come out in. I haven't even looked at circle yet, but that's because they're never really giving me the time to be able to get that route off. I tried to throw it there, but as you can see against man coverage, it is open. And when you've got a mesh concept and you're going to the sidelines, this circle route is a nice route to hit a user over the middle because he's going to end up chasing drags. And if he ends up chasing the drags from sideline to sideline, that's when circle over the middle is going to be a route that we can hit. So there you go, guys. That is basically everything. I'm going to show one final thing in the run game, and we talked about the run game. And actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to cheat. I'm going to cheat a little bit. So here's what we're doing. We're coming out in levels very rarely, only if we see that the flats are open. And then we're coming out in double cross. The other play that we can come out in is power O. So I'm going to cheat, and I'm actually going to go nickel defense. Random play so that they're not locking in on the run as much as they might, because running the ball in practice is really, really tough. Now, I like this run. See, I mean, it's wild. It's wild. It really is. But I like this run because inside zone goes to that side, and then the power O does cut back, and it actually is a nice little run. These holes in regular games, they're a little bit, it's bigger. I don't know, I mean, it's tough. See the guy just shed like every single time? Showing you guys runs in practice, like look at. He just gets off the block every time, and we end up picking 5 yards up. But you guys can see the capability of this run. And that's all I really want to show you guys, is the ability to either take it right here and follow the pulling guard, or you can actually still take it up in this area here to the left of number 61 in a game that is possible. Man, it's wild. I apologize, guys. I mean, this practice mode, see, you know what? If you're watching this video and you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, you just happen to come across this video and you're still watching, this is why you should subscribe. And the reason is because I was the very first to show gameplay footage with my tips. And because of that, probably because I've kind of taken pride in it, I'm the only person that shows gameplay in every single tip that he does as the year goes on. Early in the year, I have to do practice mode, but I definitely am showing gameplay for all of my stuff. So now you see that we can hit the other side. I mean, look at this. Who is 99? Who is 99? And why is he killing my guy on every single play? That's what I want to know. So come out in power O if you want to take advantage of the left side, or sorry, the right side, and audible to inside zone if not. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like it. Please subscribe. I promise you, we've got better stuff coming. You know, I apologize all the time because I know that this is agony for you guys. Shotgun, wing stack, pretty good formation. It's a good formation to run. It's not completely OP. It's not something that you're like, oh, this is my main offense always. But it's solid. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.